Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. As always, leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing does help out the channel. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. At the moment, the cryptocurrency market is up, but it's acting a little weird. It says Bitcoin tests $44,000. Ethereum extends its gains, and Solana and Axiom Infinity are rallying. The major news of the day at the moment, it says Bitcoin shoots past 44,000 US dollars. Oil giant Exxon Mobil explores Bitcoin mining. This is the most popular news story of the day and is apparently being touted as one of the reasons why the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin's price are currently up. Exxon Mobil Corporation is reportedly participating in a pilot program that leverages excess natural gas to power crypto mining machines, according to a recent report quoting people familiar with the matter. The report states that the oil giant is partnered with the firm Crusoe Energy Systems, and the pilot is purportedly taking place in North Dakota and the Bakken Shale Basin, wherever that might be. On the 24th of March, Bloomberg author Noreen S. Malik reported that the largest American oil and gas corporation, Exxon Mobil, is participating in piloting a Bitcoin mining project with excess gas. Malik wrote that people familiar with the matter told Bloomberg that they could not be named, because the information is not yet public. However, the people who asked to not be named said that currently Exxon Mobil is working with Crusoe Energy Solutions in the state of North Dakota. This is the most popular news story of the day. There's a second one, don't worry, there's always ridiculous, weird news. The idea is that out of nowhere, seemingly randomly, the largest petrol, gas, oil corporation, is it North America or the world? I don't remember anymore, has allegedly, apparently gotten into the Bitcoin mining game. I will tell you this right here and now. I do not know anybody from Exxon Mobil, and I myself have never worked there, but I'm going to go out on a limb, like a very thin branch on a tree, and probably say not only does this company already own some Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies through some sort of a subsidiary, they've probably been secretly mining cryptocurrencies for a number of years. This is very popular news because it has the word Exxon Mobil. People recognize it and people are going, I can't believe that that company is now randomly out of nowhere, just happens to be in the cryptocurrency space. They've all been here for a very long time. The other thing that has really, grind my gears, was that a lot of these websites are talking about, it says a clever use for Bitcoin mining. No, these people don't actually care about the environment or anything else, not to send it in that direction, but it's more of a lot of the websites were like, well, you know, all of the excess energy that they have that would go to waste, that's hurting the atmosphere, they could be using that for something else, and now they figured it out and they're going to use it for Bitcoin mining. These people didn't sit in a room and simply go, the world feels like it's in trouble. Should we mine crypto with our excess? Yes, you got it, Greg. You got it. Let's do that. We're going to save the world. These people don't care. They're trying to figure out ways to actually make more money, because if you haven't been seeing the headlines and the news from around the world, electronic vehicles are taking off quite rapidly, and the demand for petrol isn't as high as it used to be about 20 years ago. Even when it comes to other forms of heating in homes and other places around the world that were formerly very much using gas, oil, and petrol, it's not the same anymore, as it is all expected to completely dwindle out by the year 2040, 2050. And this is why you see so many other solutions to the issues that we had about 20 years ago. So, the most popular news story of the day is that apparently this company came out of nowhere and they're deciding to just, help the environment with their wasted resources to be able to mine some Bitcoin. They've been doing this for a while. I'm telling you, it's so completely obvious. And the reason why it's obvious for me, if you are new to the channel, if you've only been here for a year, if you've been here since 2016, 2017, when I started the channel, The amount of companies who we heard back then who kept on saying that Bitcoin was terrible, don't use cryptocurrencies. I see a reason for blockchain, but not for Bitcoin, who announced in 2019 and 2020 that they've been into Bitcoin since 2014 was staggering. It wasn't just one company. It was every single company and every single billionaire who talked negatively about the space before. So the news is, the most popular news story of the day, Exxon is now mining Bitcoin. It says the oil and gas giant launched a pilot program in January 2021. And is now reportedly considering expanding it to Nigeria, Argentina, Guyana, and to Germany. January 2021. Definitely over a year ago. On top of that, the amount of hype optimism for the market is, I'm kind of taken aback because I'm kind of used to the last 6-7 months of prices, It says bullish outlook for Cardano and Bitcoin. Here's what's next for Cardano and Bitcoin's price. Basically, this website says that they're going to go up. A lot of optimism. The idea for Cardano relies around the fact that, for those of you who missed the news yesterday, shame on you, I'm joking, has to do with the fact that Coinbase added Cardano staking to their platform. It has a relatively okay return. I think it's 3.7%. The actual rate of return for Cardano staking fluctuates the same as every other coin. I think yesterday I looked, it was around like 4.7, maybe 5.1%, somewhere around there. So, of course, Coinbase is taking some off the top, but Coinbase is massive, so tons of people are going to be using that platform and staking their Cardano, and the number of total value locked in Cardano continues to rise, even from yesterday. And we were just going over the numbers. And the outlook for Bitcoin basically has to do with the fact that the price has been rising. We've passed by 2 currently levels of resistance. The next level of resistance being $46,000, which is the number that we've been told for at least a month and a half as the kind of go get 'em number. When you pass by $46,000, that is supposed to be the reignition of the bull run, and therefore $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 and all that kind of stuff. It says Ethereum's price to explode soon, with Ethereum flipping Bitcoin. This is what traders can expect. I knew at some point this conversation would move back into the space. It happens every year and a half, or usually if prices are kind of pumping. We are at the point once again where people are not only very optimistic on Ethereum and what it can do and will purportedly be able to do and how high it's going to go and how many transactions per second and everything else that Vitalik Buterin has been telling us since 2015, but the conversation is now once again, if Bitcoin goes up by 4%, Ethereum goes up by 8%. And mathematically, if that continues, at some point, it is expected that Ethereum will become the #1 coin. I personally do not see that happening. But alas, here we are. According to Real Vision CEO and worldwide economic expert, okay, don't pat him on the back so hard, geez, Raoul Pal, a number of technical indications are turning bullish for Ethereum. Pal claims to have discovered a chart pattern that indicates ETH is on the verge of solidifying a bottom and launching a long-term rally. Pal says Ethereum is forming an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which usually indicates the end of a downward trend. He said ETH is approaching the neckline of the inverted head and shoulders pattern. Pattern still needs confirming. The veracity of the inverted head and shoulders pattern, according to Pal, is backed by readings on the DMARC indicator, which is used to predict market tops and bottoms, as well as potential market turning points. Wonderful. I've been in the market for a while. I do not think that Ethereum is ever going to pass by Bitcoin unless something astronomically, terribly, ridiculously insane happens to Bitcoin. But at that point, the entire market would tumble, and not simply just Bitcoin on its own in a corner with other coins surging. Is there a possibility of Ethereum becoming the #1 coin? Abso-freaking-lutely. However, it's like a 0.1 1% chance, if even that much. But then again, I also don't know the future, and the last 2 years have been ridiculous. I didn't see it coming, and that's just where we are. It says Ethereum's market cap has flipped Mastercard and Bank of America. We get this news about every 6 or so months, not particularly these two companies and banks, but it's more of a, usually if Bitcoin's price goes above 50, 60, 70,000, we get that Bitcoin is larger than JP Morgan, Bitcoin is larger than this bank, and Bitcoin is larger than these 38 other banks, and Bitcoin is now the fourth largest currency on the planet, with the other ones trailing behind it, and you have the euro and the US dollar in front of it, and when will it pass by the euro? That kind of news. It's very rare-esque that we actually get something for Ethereum, as usually it's Bitcoin mainly in the heavy price-hitting news. But yeah, Ethereum popping up to above $3,000 in the last couple of days. It is now worth more, if you will, than Mastercard and Bank of America. Not too surprising, as you know, the network is massive, and this is where we kind of get those really, once again, those really big numbers once again, because it's roughly around 2 to 3% of the planet that's currently into the crypto market. So imagine when it's 10%. Imagine when 15% of the world are into cryptocurrencies, how high prices will be, and at that point, I assume Ethereum is at some point going to flip the value of gold as well, and that'll be a very interesting day when we have to talk to that guy who's obsessed with gold so much. And then I was also quite curious, and my mental prediction was quite accurate. For those of you not looking at the screen, it says stock market news, live updates, stock futures drift sideways after rally. Part of me told me that this is what happened, but I try to believe otherwise. When the cryptocurrency market rallied, the stock market was already also rallying. The cryptocurrency prices are currently green, but drifting sideways. And can you guess what the stock market is also doing? It's also drifting sideways. So we are still attached at the hip when it comes to the stock market movements. Looking around, however, it appears that stocks rallied around the world because it looks like, I don't know, that there may be some type of a good outcome to the current situation that's going on. This is, of course, hyper speculation, but this is why stocks moved back up. The idea that this issue could be over with and should have never happened. Therefore, the optimism will rush back into every single market as people try to make tons of money once again. Yeah, that's all the price news, at least for right now. There's a lot going on, as always. Will be very interesting to see what happens over the weekend, because typically stock markets on the weekend close, and therefore prices don't really move. But the cryptocurrency market a lot of times tends to go sideways down, as there's like a lack of momentum, or maybe people are just simply relaxing. So optimism is there in the market. Ethereum apparently, allegedly, at some point is going to flip Bitcoin. I've heard that for so many years, and I think if it ever did happen, it would be like the biggest shock in the world, because it's kind of like someone saying, hey, like tomorrow the sun won't rise, but it'll be like a gigantic apple, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But I mean, you know. Anyway, that's all the price news. And yeah, let's move on. Okay, actually, I guess also tying potentially into price news, Axiom Infinity is also up by a lot right now. It says price up by 22% in the last 24 hours. Here's why. The entire story, as I understand it, from reading and looking at Axiom Infinity over the last year or so, is that this is a video game on a blockchain that you can use to get digital characters and have them smack it out or something inside of a ring, and then you get rewarded in cryptocurrencies for what you do. The big news story has been for a while that people in Countries where the minimum wage is quite low have apparently been playing this game in an effort to make some extra income. From what I can tell by what I've been reading and looking around is that apparently it's not as easy as you would assume. And I think you have to initially, from what I've read and seen, pay around $200 to be able to even get a character that is good enough in the game. And then you have to hope that you actually win to be able to make extra money. And there are tons of people who are playing the game, but they're playing it for like 15, 16 hours. This is what I heard. And therefore, the optimism has kind of drifted away from the project, as it seems to be an eternal loop of having to play for a very long time in order to be able to make a small amount of money. However, it says Axiom Infinity, the second largest crypto gaming token by market cap, surged by over 22% to over $72 after developer Sky Mavis outlined plans to improve community governance in the eponymous game and progressively decentralize its economy. Reaction to the news was largely positive, helping Axie to reach a 2-month high. This was also quite popular. I know a lot of people do play this game. I myself haven't heard the best of news surrounding it, simply because in order to get one of these little characters, you have to pay a lot. And the idea being, if you are making $5 a day, you probably don't have $200 to be able to get into the game. So apparently there are companies who buy these little monsters and they lease them out to people while they play for 15 hours a day. Once again, just what I've read. And there are also other YouTubers who like actually play Axiom Infinity, and they also talk about that as well. Up 22%. Hopefully they get it together, or whatever the issue might have been, that they smooth that out, because I do think that gaming is going to be quite popular in the blockchain cryptocurrency space, probably forever. But, you know, yeah, that's the Axiom Infinity news. Alrighty, let's move on. In the second most popular news story of the day, it says Russia is moving away from the dollar and the euro as payment options for its energy exports. And Bitcoin has been mentioned, air quotes, wink, as a possible substitute alongside the ruble and other national currencies of partnering countries. A high-ranking parliamentarian has indicated that Moscow may take crypto for natural gas and other resources. This is major news. Why? Because it has a country's name and the word Bitcoin inside of it. The idea being, a lot of other people don't want to play with them on the playground right now because they know exactly what they're doing and it's ridiculous and it needs to stop. On the other hand, or rather in the same exact palm, they've had an enormous amount of sanctions against them. And if you haven't ever really read about it before, this is why reading and documentaries are quite fundamental. Their economy was already garbage. They didn't have the strongest and do not have the strongest economy on the planet. I believe it's something like 180 people. 180 people within that country own more wealth than everyone else in that country. Think of that. One of the highest poverty rates on the planet. It's just that you simply don't see it because whenever you watch news about it, it's usually in the richest parts of Moscow, but I digress. So we have had news, me, you, I, us, since 2017. Remember the news that we got before? From one of the finance ministers. You must remember this. This is about the 19th time that I'm saying this because I want all of you to understand that none of this is brand new. This news keeps popping up and people, they're doing what? Did you hear that? I can't believe. No. This has been happening for an extremely long amount of time. Remember one of the economic ministers, somebody who works in parliament, announced in 2017 or 2018 that they had an excess, what was it, 50, 60, 70, 100 million US dollar equivalent, and they were going to be buying Bitcoin with it. The very next day, people were asking him again, and I assume behind closed doors, someone gave him a talking to because he was like, I don't know what Bitcoin is. And I was like, we all heard you. We all read the articles. We know exactly what you said. It's abundantly clear. Even, oh my gosh, even remember in 2018, first of all, they're not the only country who are under sanctions. There are a lot of them, for those of you who don't know that. We had news in 2018 that allegedly about 7 of these countries got together and were actually swapping Bitcoin back and forth in an effort to see basically if it worked. They wanted to see if they could trade between themselves already in Bitcoin. Fast forward to 4 or 5 years ahead, and this is where we currently are. And we get news like this, and everyone goes, "What? That's crazy! They're now accepting Bitcoin." They've been buying an immense amount of Bitcoin for a very long time. Don't forget, we also had news before that after China, I think Russia was number 5 or 6 on the list of countries who were actively mining tons of Bitcoin. Do you think the government had no involvement in a potentially multi-billion-dollar industry that they could also use as extra tax revenue on other people who are mining it to further boost their economy that isn't doing very well? I don't get why news I understand why this news is significant, but believe me, I get it. I've been going over the news for so long in this space. I understand. But the idea of that they may accept it is a lie. I'm pretty sure they've been doing it for a very long time. It's just simply that this news has finally leaked out to us. The chair of the State Duma Committee on Energy said Russia would accept Bitcoin for its energy exports, at least from China and Turkey, 2 of the only countries who are still willing to actually talk to them on the phone right now. Hyper surprising news. No one else saw this coming. I told you all before, I'm pretty sure at least half the countries on the planet own or are buying or are attempting to start mining Bitcoin in some sort of way. Don't forget, we all live in a country. Got that part. They do stuff like this all the time. Simply because we don't hear about it does not mean that it's not happening. And if the news does at some point trickle down to us, this means that this is a lot larger than we could even begin to possibly expect. You might have seen on your local news, because I've been seeing it around as well. It's not necessarily crypto news, but it's been popping up on like actual news where a lot of U.S. senators and other committees and yada yada, they've expected that this country has been using Bitcoin for quite some time. Like, it's currently in the news right now. Not even as far as evading sanctions. It's like, no, they've been using this for a while. This is why they're not really hit as hard as you would believe they would be with all the sanctions, because they have billions of dollars already circulating through another digital economy. Anyway, so cool. That's the oil and gas for Bitcoin news. Think about that. Once again, if they'll accept it from other countries, how are you accepting Bitcoin unless those countries already have Bitcoin? Think about that. Someone said out loud, we'll accept it for Bitcoin from 2 other countries. Are those countries now today like, oh my gosh, we need more gas now buying Bitcoin? Or have they had Bitcoin the entire time? Let's move on. Also in popular news, and I don't really understand why, rumors that Honduras would accept Bitcoin as legal tender have been laid to rest by the nation's central bank. As it happens, Honduras will not follow in El Salvador's footsteps in adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. On the 23rd of March, Honduras' central bank put out a notice on the potential for Bitcoin to be adopted as legal tender, acknowledging circulating rumors. The notice drew readers' attention to Article 342 on the country's constitution, Article 5 of the monetary law, and Article 26 of the law of the central bank, in which the central bank is granted sole authority to issue bank notes and legal tender. How this rumor got started, I'm not sure. Does it matter that they're not accepting it as legal tender? No. No one actually cares. And that's not being mean against the particular country, because I could actually care less. It's more so anytime that any politician within a country says the word Bitcoin, rumors begin to circulate that they're next. They're the next one to adopt it as legal tender. And then we get the country going, no, we're not going to be doing that. And everyone goes, but you said, and it's like, okay, so the rumor is that the rumor was fake. It's not going to happen. It doesn't really matter because adoption continues regardless if another country adopts it as legal tender or not. We do not need a city, a country, state, a town, or anyone else to adopt it as legal tender because more people move into our market regardless of what their countries are doing. That's the Honduras news. And let's move on. Also in very popular news, my gosh, this was also everywhere. El Salvador, the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. I love that that's always their title now. It's never just simply El Salvador. It's always the first country to adopt, because you wouldn't know what they were otherwise, is seeking support from the world's biggest crypto exchange, Binance, on how to foster its Bitcoin adoption. The El Salvadorian president, Nayib Bukele, revealed that he would be meeting with Changpeng Zhao, the founder of Binance, on Thursday, with his meeting coming amidst news of El Salvador's Bitcoin bond. Many speculated that the bond was the subject of discussion. However, the president took to Twitter to clarify that it was unrelated to the Bitcoin bond. He explained that the bond was being issued by Bitfinex and not Binance. Here's a tweet for it right here. He explained that the meeting with Changpeng Zhao was to discuss other issues not related to the Bitcoin bond. So for those of you who haven't been paying attention to the saga of El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender, other governments are not happy. The IMF is not happy. The World Bank is not happy. The US are not happy, is not happy. Somebody's not happy in that room. And I guess they're having this meeting to try and figure out what he can do. Because I've been reading a lot of reports that apparently, allegedly, I do not know, Ali, there's a lot of riffraff and a lot of friction within those borders because it was adopted when the price was fairly high. People bought in, the price fell. It is a legal tender, and it keeps losing value, or was losing value, and continues to fluctuate. So I assume they're having some crazy conversations as to exactly what can be done. But I mean, Binance is also buying every single company on the planet, so it might be smart to have a little chat with him because I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what to do. Anyway, that's the also popular meeting news. Sure, why not? Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you, almost said popular thank you, to my Patreon supporters, GBU Wally, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and Let's Move On, Empire Queen, Fud Weiser, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben, Arachno Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Mo Barazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grolet, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Nita Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Abilbiophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crayola Michelle URL. Thank you very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who left a like, who has commented, and thank you, and a gigantic thank you to every single person at the end of the video when I ask you to write those weird numbers or weird comments, to the people who actually do it. I mean, thank you. I appreciate the extra effort. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently at $43,993. Once again, the surge was around here. We popped up and trading sideways just like stock futures. How fascinating. Ethereum is currently at $3,129 US dollars. It is up by 2.6%. XRP is lightly down 0.13%. I assume it has to do with the trending sideways. The momentum for the other coins wasn't as strong as Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin and Axiom Infinity, and was it also Solana or something like that? And any movement downward that Bitcoin might have is affecting the other altcoins a lot heavier. Solana is up by 5.53%. Anything else crazy at the moment? Near is up by 2.95. Uniswap is up by 4. FTT is up by 6.4%. Ethereum Classic is up by 8%. That momentum is still very strong for them. Look at that. Axiom Infinity is up by 23% over the news that we were just talking about. Monero is up by 1%. Compound US dollar is up by 31% on $231 value. I have no idea how this is still even a coin. Yeah, I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all might have potentially at some point today or the next day, a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.